I'd like to talk to you a little bit about why Lumine Hall is a standout location to me. For one, all this time, it seemed like Ness was a surrogate for the player. He was a stand-in avatar character who didn't have a defined personality, and we didn't really ever get to know much about him. Really, we knew that he was annoyed by Poki's antics. Who wouldn't be? But we're seeing that he's somebody who worries about the future, worries about the fate of what might actually happen to us at the end of this journey, and that he's unsure about everything going on around him. I think a silent protagonist like Ness does work in a game like this, where it's not really so much about the story and the main characters, it's more about the moments. Your experience seeing all these wacky, crazy things happening around you, occasionally unsettling things happening around you, and just the world being larger than life and feeling very alive itself. Having a silent protagonist in that sort of setting can work to good effect. It's not really about Ness himself. It's about the Earth. But seeing that Ness is actually not just an avatar character, does have a defined personality, and now we're getting in to see just what kind of person he really is, seeing that he was just reserved, I think that's a very interesting twist put on the silent protagonist idea. And not only that, but in the real world, Lumine Hall also has a bit of cultural significance. There was a news story that made very big headlines a few years ago of somebody altering a copy of EarthBound and using this place to propose to their girlfriend. Out of the hundreds of thousands of great things EarthBound fans have done over the past 2 decades, this one's a personal favorite, and if you're curious who these people are, they are longtime EarthBound fans Diosparte and Neopala. If you've not checked out this already popular video, it's worth a watch. When you strip all that away, Lumine Hall is still really dang pretty. You drop down that hole not knowing what to expect, thinking it's gonna be somebody's feet or something like that. That's kind of what a quarter of them have been by this point. And instead of that, you see that you're on a set for a Cave People's game show or something. That's what I thought when I went in here for the first time. Hey everybody, it's Chugga Conroy. Welcome back to more EarthBound. Last time, we ventured through the Lumine Hall cave, making it to the very end after triumphing over the Electrospectre. This time, we see what lies beyond. Dinosaurs are real, and to see them in their full glory, we gotta be zoomed out. We are tiny! Puts a lot of things into perspective. Starting things off is the Wet-Nose-Saur. I didn't get the joke at all when I was a kid. I was like, the Wet-Nose-Saur? What? And no, it's Wet-Nose-Saur because it looks, kind of dog-like and just really adorable. And I'm sorry, I wasn't really much of a dog person growing up. I'm a filthy casual when it comes to raising dogs. You'll have to forgive me for not seeing their brilliance and why they're so loved. I've taken care of a couple dogs in my life. It's not quite that bad. The Wet-Nose-Saur, it can stomp with its huge foot, swing its tail very hard. There's strong physical attacks. And it also has a strong biting attack, and it can also solidify you by wrapping I think it wraps its tail around you. It can't do a single thing to you if its physical attacks get shut off. So if you want to do that to it, you can. It is also an enemy that is susceptible to flash if you just want to insta-kill it, but the fact that you have to have flash connect on a coin flip and then you also have to have just the chance for insta-kill, it's not worth the PP. This is the Lost Underworld. Earthquakes happen frequently here, and those geysers go off when they do. If you're in the geysers when they go off by waiting all too long for that to happen, because it seems like the ground always shakes whenever you don't want it to, and whenever you are waiting for it, it never seems to want to, you will get healed by those geysers. Now, the Lost Underworlds. These tiny sprites are a little bit strange. If you were to glitch out of here and go to somewhere else in the Great Tapestry, you can have big sprites inside the Lost Underworld and tiny sprites outside of it, depending on if you glitch your way out of this place or glitch your way into it. It's kind of interesting, and not only that, but there are unused sprites of the Photo Man and Ness doing the fuzzy pickles in this tiny form, even though the Photo Man does not make an appearance. If you were to glitch your way out of the Lost Underworld to get a picture taken while you have these tiny sprites, then it's not really terribly exciting. Ness just Okay, well, it is actually pretty funny. I think it looks really silly. I want to thank Boundary Break for testing this because it was a question that I had actually had for a long time, and I could find no resources anywhere on the internet that answered it, and that was the first one that came around to my knowledge. I'm using teleport because— No! Okay, it was right at the very beginning to tell you that what is a good way to get around the Lost Underworld if you're just not jiving with that slow walking speed is to teleport, run into stuff. Teleport, run into stuff. I don't know why, but the limits on teleporting are a lot... They're a lot stricter than they usually are, is what I'm trying to say. Also, this tree, I've always thought looks like that thing from that boss minigame in the first WarioWare where you're, like, having to bounce around and get into a bathtub. It looks like what it would look like if it was standing with its back turned to you. But probably just my own interpretation of it. Now, so up in the present, there is a brain food lunch inside. I'll gladly take that. We've actually, because of my antics, we have spawned into another location than where we were in the first place. Possible speedrunning tactics? Maybe. There's a few enemies down there. I think we're going to avoid them for right now just to kind of get a move on with things a little bit. I might not be doing my whole teleport thing after it failed for me the first time because I thought I had it good and turns out I didn't. I think that's the first guys that ran to. Yeah, okay, it was. I'm pretty sure that's it. This looks familiar. I'm just trying to get my bearings straight to make sure before I move on. Because you move so slowly throughout this place. It's not very pleasant having to spend lots of time in here. And there's a lot of presents here that are also very consistently helpful. All of the brain food lunch that we got at the beginning. Let that be a small taste of what you're going to find in this place. It's excellent. Who am I talking to? Yeah, I ask myself that every time because I'm in the room by myself, and whenever people accuse me of not actually being an introvert because I'm loud, I'm like, well, you know, it's really easy to be loud when you're in a room by yourself. You know, you introverts like singing loudly no matter how bad you are when people aren't around. No, I did. Case of danger, evacuate here. The boss. Not signed to the boss, just the boss. You're strange, but you smell good, so I'll tell you a secret. Did you feel the earthquake a little while ago? You know, we have earthquakes all the time here. After an earthquake, the hot springs will erupt. The blue springs are great for recovering health. The red springs are perfect for healing paralysis or drawing up poison. The bird over there says words like hello and click beep beep beep. And he also has one hell of a temper when you get near him and he doesn't like you. Let's call Mom. Hello, Ness, what's wrong? You sound so... Wait, I'm homesick? Since when am I homesick? Maybe off of... Ness didn't show any signs of being homesick in the Electrospectre fight, so that could have only been either getting homesick off of the Well, no, I just visited a sanctuary, and that heals homesickness. I got homesick off of the battle with the Wetnosaur. I have never seen homesickness come up this often. Generally, by this point in the game, homesickness isn't even remotely a thought in my mind of something that could happen. That's weird. All right, well, we're going to go around the Lost Underworld a little bit. And why not? Well, I think I'm going to avoid you a little bit longer. Or no, I'm not. Never mind. I don't know what I'm talking about. We have a rather strong new enemy. This is the Chompasaur. It looks a lot more intimidating on the field here. It just looks derpy and hilarious. The Chompasaur is one of the largest enemies, and bafflingly, there are some setups where it can wind up with two of them on the field, and they take up a lot of room, so they end up looking kind of like this formation that I'm showing you right now. I've only seen it happen maybe 1 or 2 times throughout my life, and it's really funny when it does, so there you go. I'm going to use the neutralizer on it right away because it actually starts off with a physical power shield, making it kind of annoying to fight and making it so you got to shuffle around in your inventory, be careful what you're doing to it, or you can just make it solidify and not have to worry about anything like I've been doing for every battle lately. Use freeze beta on it. Yeah, it survived through all that. It's a really hardy enemy. We are but toenails to it. What, it survived yet again. Yeah, it can swing its tail really hard. And believe it or not, it's actually psychic. It has the beta and gamma levels of fire, and I think maybe even the alpha level as well. Can stop its huge foot, and beyond that, it also has a 1 in 128 chance of dropping Paula's ultimate weapon, the magic fry pan. Thankfully, no IQ or repairing shenanigans necessary to use it this time, so it is a little bit more useful than Jeff's. I personally don't go out for it, but that's just me. I think Jeff took some damage in that battle. Yes, he did. He can take the plain yogurt, because I definitely want that Horn of Life in place of that. Just trying to throw away my less useful items and take the more useful ones. If I get the magic fry pan, great. If I don't, I don't. The Sword of Kings is probably going to be the only ultimate item that I really go out for. Oh my god, its side sprite looks derpy too. It looks so chubby-cheeked and just really adorable. Oh my gosh. I never knew how much I loved the Chompasaur before today, but oh man, it's so nice having new discoveries of things that you love. Have I got a story for you about the Lost Underworld? I'm glad I get to add this to my list of stories about this place. Look at that side sprite, it just looks so funny. Oh my gosh. Do it again. Yeah, it moonwalked a little bit. The Lost Underworld is known for being one of the buggier areas in the game. If you were to get into a battle while teleporting, it can really screw with the graphics. There's a lot of similar things where if you do certain things at the same time, it can really freak the game out because it's just so different from the rest of the game that it likely operates on its own separate programming. Paula grew to 65 and Jeff grew to 63. It has a lot of strange oddities about it, to be sure, that aren't even well understood by hackers to this day. I want to paint a little bit of a picture for you, and that is me getting the sea pendant. I have no life. This is the best pendant that you are likely to ever come into contact with. It resists fire, freeze, and flash all at the same time, plus gives you more defense than the other pendants. Only one of these in the game. Choose who you give it to very wisely. I think more than anyone, Paula is the clear choice. So guess what, Paula? You get to eat the luxury jerky. The picture that I want to paint for you is me at 11 years old, supposed to be getting ready for school, but chooses to play EarthBound instead. Hard to believe, I know. I just got to the Lost Underworld, and as I'm walking around, I see a signpost moving around like it's an enemy. I've never seen this at any other point. Ever. Never heard of anything like this documented online at any point. And it's running away from me like it's a low-level enemy that's scared of me. Like I've already beaten the area even though I haven't. Already this is pretty weird, but I'm thinking like, I see. EarthBound having really quirky enemies, some really wacky stuff. Oh, funny and fuzzy pickles. I might not ever see anything like this before in any other playthrough, but I see what you're doing there. I see it. I see right through you. And little did I know what awaited me. I chase after this thing. It almost gets off screen from me, but I just barely get it stuck on a tree so that I can actually walk up to it. I get a green swirl when I walk up to it, but not a normal green swirl. I get a green boss swirl. And I'm thinking, what? And then on the black screen, waiting to get into the battle, I hear this. And the game just hung on that black screen forever. It's commonplace for EarthBound crashes to play random sound effects, but as you can imagine, I was terrified. I lost a lot of progress. I had to go back to before the Lumine Hall when I'd last saved in Tenda Village. Had to do so many things over again, and I just didn't like it. I've asked a few people that have hacked this game to where and back again who know it so well, and according to one named Mr. Tenda, who I described what I experienced in a lot of detail to, it's just one of those random, unreplicatable glitches that EarthBound just sort of has. EarthBound is very complex in its programming for its time, and it just has a lot of weird random glitches that are kind of hard to replicate. I was thinking it might have been cosmic radiation. If you don't know, it's possible for RAM values to get changed around while the game is running if there is cosmic radiation in the area. It's a once-in-a-lifetime thing, if even that. It's one in millions of chances of actually experiencing that in real life and in a way that would affect your game in a meaningful way. You might have had it happen in a way where it altered a RAM value that you would have no way of ever knowing, and I thought maybe that was mine. But no, apparently it's just that EarthBound has weird glitches that happen from time to time, and that might have just been mine. I've never been able to find anything like it. There's kind of similar things with the Lost Underworld causing the game to freak out and display corrupted graphics, but nothing quite like that. A chubby, obnoxious kid from some foreign country said something heart-rending. So I'm healing my wounds in the hot spring. Ah, I get you. Saying mean things is very toxic, and this thing is known to draw poison out of the body. Hot springs cured us completely. and by that it means we're still injured. Going back to the sea pendant for a moment, I do want to reiterate that there is no such stat as thunder defense. Thunder is elementless, so when I say that you have attribute resistance to everything, I mean that freeze and fire won't be a problem for you, and that you'll resist pretty much everything else, but anything that doesn't have an element, like, say, Rollin' or Starstorm or Thunder, you still have to worry about that. Anyway... You guys smell really good. Who am I? I'm a Tenda. Hey, what are you doing inside our dinosaur cage? I'm gonna open the door, and you get out of there right now. I'm the boss, so I'll let you out. Thank you for the Tendakraut. Nessa's Tendakraut was stolen. The awful smell surrounding the group is now gone. As is my full inventory. I'm really happy to have that gone from the group. Why don't you see the talkative mystery rock? That rock really jabbers away. Even though I listen to the talkative Mr. Rock story, I don't understand what it's talking about. If you are in any way curious, because you can't get to this point with the Tendakraut, but they take the Tendakraut as a requirement for you to get in, what happens if you somehow glitch your way here? Well, they take the Tendakraut from you, of course. Broken harmonica was fixed. The baddest beam. I'd love it that an item was named that, but it's a shame that an item named that good had to go to something that's just completely useless, much like the Death Ray. Sure, gain 8 more attack that I will never use. So I have an inn. Why don't you see the talkative Mr. Rock? That rock really jabbers away. Made a cage for dinosaurs and locked them up. That's what my brother tells me, but I don't believe it. He's just spewing out of his cake hole. It's kind of an interesting philosophy that maybe the cage is meant to protect what's in it from the outside. I don't know. It's philosophical, funny weirdness. That sign sprite that you see up there, that giant signpost, that was the sprite that I saw. Don't feed the dinosaurs in the cage. The boss. Tenda who'd like to talk came to Lost Underworld because we couldn't stand the quiet up above, so we established a separate tribe. I hope we can be friendly again someday. Yeah, it was a lot easier to live up above. Reminds me of how everyone in the United States just kind of moved west because they got so tired of how uptight the East Coast was. Let's play a store. My friend Igo loves this game, so hi, may I help you? Looking for anything in particular? We have the ultimate bat, a better item for Ness. The holy fry pan for Paula, even better. The shiny coin is better than the talisman coin. We can buy Horns of Life yet again. And we have the mammoth burger, which is, I think, cheaper than the other burgers we've seen. We can buy the luxury jerky, and we have bottles of DX water. Great items all the way around. This is why I was saying that it's not that helpful for you to get the Hall of Fame bat, because it's going to be replaced by a better item that quickly. And it also only sells for 940 bucks. Easily a disappointment. Holy fry pan! If you go behind this little hut, you're a foreigner, aren't you? I'm a world-wise Tenda. I was an exchange student who traveled to a country that is known as an economic superpower. My name is Igo Sticky. Let me know if I can do anything for you. I think this guy's name is a pun in Japanese, but I don't remember exactly what it is. Yeah, so this is yet another one of those guys who gives us a handling fee equal to the amount of our withdrawal. Sheesh, if you have access to my bank account, why don't you don't just take everything like you're at it like a real identity thief? Yeah, you can take it. I have more money than I know what to do with, and I don't feel like teleporting and walking slowly through this whole place again. This one actually is a little bit more convenient than the Deep Darkness one where you're just going to teleport into the town anyway, because you don't teleport near here. Shiny coin can go on Ness. Yeah, take my talisman coin. I've been thinking about it, and even though it is a little nice to have Ness going a little bit faster in battle, I think I'll keep the rabbit's foot in his inventory in case I want to switch back, but for now, Night Pendant it is. I want my healer not being susceptible to instant death whenever flash moves inevitably come up. I think I've talked to you. You seem different. Yeah, you know, Tenda up there are shy and don't like to talk. I have not talked to you. Didn't you think the Tenda up have some particularly beautiful women? They're still shy, though. You finally came, Ness. Finally you talked to me. If only I did so before staying at the inn. I always do that. Listen, Ness. I'm going to tell you something very important. You may want to take notes. Ready? You're the chosen one. Your destiny is not only yours, it is the destiny of the whole universe. There will be a time in which all of you in the universe will overlap each other. It's not necessary to understand now. Do you remember Giant Step in Onet? That is one of your sanctuary. It is a spot which gives you power and allows you to realize all your skills. There was a monster that protected it. The monster was influenced by the power of the place. You must have beaten those monsters. You must reach all 8 power spots in the world. When the Soundstone records the melodies of all 8 power spots, you can finally see your world. I'll tell you all of the power spots. 1. Giant Step in Onet. 2. Lilliput Steps in Peaceful Rest Valley near Tucson. 3. Milky Well in Grapefruit Falls in Saturn Valley. 4. Rainy Circle found by Jeff in Winters. 5. Magnet Hill at the edge of the city of Fourside. 6. Pink Cloud, which Pooh knows. 7. End Lumine Hole, where the shining lichen lives in the cave. 8. A new place is going to be opened up to you. Fire Spring, located southwest of here. Listen to the melodies of all 8 power spots. If you do not fail, you may upset Gygas's plans. Understand, Ness? The time will come. The time when the destiny of you and the whole universe will overlap. It is fast approaching. That was a good time for an earthquake, right immediately following what he said. If you're like me, everything he said just flew over your head and all you could think about is the fact that he called it Lumine Hole instead of Lumine Hall. It is very inconsistent what that place is called from text to text. Sometimes it's Lumine Hall, sometimes it's Lumine Hole. But personally, even though both names are technically applicable because you do fall down a hole to get there, and it is also the hole to the Lost Underworld itself, I think Lumine Hall makes a lot more sense. It is just a lot more beautiful and mystical sounding. Well, we have possibly our final objective other than Gygas himself. Next time on EarthBound, we leave the Underworld Tenda Village and set out for it. See you guys then.